Welcome to the BMW of Atlantic City Studios. I can't talk already. Birds of a Feather comes to you live from BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMW of AtlanticCity.com, live on A2D Radio. First half of the show is brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC. Gibson Mayer, our certified public accountant. Please make them yours. And our Scanzano Sports poll question, ScanzanoSports.com. With the 32nd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Darius Geis, Connor Williams, Justin Reed, Dallas Goedert. Goddard. I always say Goedert. I always think it's like a French name.
It looks like
Looks so French. And we have a trade. Join us on Facebook, YouTube. We're going to do it a little different this time. We're going to do Periscope second half of the show. We're going to be talking birds, lots of draft talk. We're going to talk Sixers. The game is live, so if you're joining us, thank you for making us a part of your night, what we hope will be a special night. And yeah, we obviously, Chrome, Chucks is back. Ryan Brodo on the ones and twos. Not inconspicuous by his absence, Paulie is covering the Sixers game for NBC Sports.
Oh, look, there he is on TV. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Look for him, though. We have randomly seen him at the stat table during games when he is sent there to cover the game. But, yeah, guys, join us, Facebook, YouTube. Please join the poll question. Any conversation you want to have. You know, we're talking Sixers and we're talking Eagles and draft primarily, but we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. So,
as usual.
Yeah, poll question, man. What do you got?
I think they're going to trade back.
Me too.
I think they're going to trade back. I don't. And here's my thinking. I think the interest in two guys, Darius Geis and Justin Reed, is legit. I think they are interested in them. But one, I do not think Darius Geis is going to be there, and two, I don't know if the interest still is enough in either of them for them to not take an offer to trade back. I mean, it depends on what the trade offer exactly is, but I think a trade back is just too enticing, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think that since we don't have a day 2 pick, and just looking at some of the names, like I think the value there again, day 2 is my favorite day of the draft. I think rounds 2 and 3 are great places to get real good studs. Mm-hmm. I would love a trade back. So
yeah, I'm feeling trade as well. I just feel like, and I read an article, and I believe it said at 32, it's not exactly, it hasn't been such a productive spot historically in drafts either. I mean, it's a first-round pick, which teams will covet if they can get into that first round. But for us, I think that it has to be a name that has to be there that is, like, without a question, you have to take it. Geis would be nice, but
yeah, I think Geis is that.
To me, he's the only name on the list that I'm like, all right, I would stay at 32 if he's available. Now, I do think that we have a little bit of leverage to where we can put a deal in place, but obviously, hey, this deal's here, but it's contingent on this for us to move back.
Yeah.
I would love to get into the third and or fourth round, or like turn it into a third and fifth, or whatever you could do. And I feel like that's going to be the best way to go.
Yeah.
Meek is, by the way, just an FYI, Meek is ringing the bell to open the game. So Meek is free today. And that means if you go by Facebook that we're going to win by 2 million points tonight. So I hope that actually happens. But, it's going to be an exciting night in Philadelphia sports. Over here, Mr. Brodo, I would like to hear what you think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do in this week's draft this Thursday.
For me, I really do truly, and like you said, I really do think that they're going to trade back. I don't think they're going to be there at 32. We've been talking about this for weeks now, that there's not going to be a scenario in my mind that will keep Howie Roseman from being active in day 2. You know, I just don't see him being like, oh, okay, we'll just stick here at 32 and then we'll just take day 2 off. I just don't really think Howie
I don't
Roseman
see it, yeah.
rolls like that. And I honestly think the 32nd pick, while obviously it's not as attractive as, you know, it's, for example, a top 10 pick, I think it's very underrated how attractive that pick is, given that it's the last pick of day 1. And a lot of teams, especially building teams, like to go after picks like that. You know, picks that end the day, and obviously, you know, for example, the first pick in like the 4th round is very attractive over the last handful of years, or just numerous years in general.
Yeah.
But for me, I think in order to go out and get it, you know, get a 2nd or 3rd round pick or both, or, you know, multitude of, you know, end round picks, you need to trade that pick, you know. And I'm not one of those guys that think they need to go out and trade like a Darby or an already established player to go out and get those, you know, 2nd and 3rd round picks. So for me, I think the easy way to do it, there's going to be plenty of teams that are interested in the 32nd overall pick. I honestly think they're going to, you know, trade that, and they'll take tomorrow. You know, they'll take Thursday off. I really do.
Yeah, and again, you could look at it and say, well, you know, the Eagles don't have a 2nd and 3rd round pick, so maybe their back's against the wall. If they feel any kind of you know, they could feel some pressure. Maybe a team might think, you know, we could get this pick and maybe undercut them. What I like their approach is, if they sit there, best player available. That's it. Not worrying about the position and all that, aside from obviously like quarterback and
yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. But whatever the top talent is,
If it
we're
falls,
going to take
yeah,
them.
Yeah.
You'd always take them and then trade them later to get later picks if you
could,
really needed
yeah.
to, if it's somebody that someone really wants. But I think it puts you in the driver's seat, having that ability to sit there if you want to, or there's a lot of teams that need to fill a lot of holes that can move up into that and obviously give us a fair compensation back.
Yeah.
Over on Facebook, Joey Tadaro says, I'll be at the link for the pre-draft party. It's going to be lit. Hell yeah, it is, Joey. Have a good time, buddy. Let us know how it is. Greg Malakovic, welcome back, Greg. Greg says, give me Geis. The Geis is loose. Hashtag free Nick.
Hashtag free Nick.
Tom Arnone, Family Talk, always Tom. Rob Povia, A2D Radio, hashtag best in the business. Damn right. Dion jumps in here. Dion, we love when Dion's in.
What's going on, Dion?
Can always count on Dion being here.
Heck yeah.
What up, fellas? I say trade back, gather some picks, unless there's a guy that shouldn't be around at 32. Exactly. It's what we kind of – it's great. You echo what we said. You know, unless it's a name you can't pass up on.
Yeah.
Move the pick.
So
Yeah,
I was going to say, especially for you, Charles, you know, here's a question. And obviously the people, you know, at home listening, out of the 32 teams, you know, that'll be picking, for example,
Yeah.
which teams do you see that could be massive movers up the drafts, closer to the top 10 or, you know, top 5? And who's a team that you could see as a massive mover moving back or even out of the first round?
outside of the Eagles being the ones to trade back, I think that see the thing is, I think that the Bills obviously are you know, they're obviously one. I think they have multiple picks. They
They have 6 in the first
Yeah, 6 in the
65,
first-
I
yeah.
believe.
So they will move up. The Patriots are always habitual movers, whether it be up or down. Now, since they have they have 2 picks in the first round, I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up. Like to be honest, would they stay? You know, would I be surprised if they stay put? No, I wouldn't be surprised. But like, it's just in the Patriots' nature, to me, to I feel like they have someone. If they're going to the way they've been approaching this offseason, I think they want to go younger. And I think they picking at 32 and lower for the past several years has kind of, how can I say this? It's kind of it had its toll on the roster. There's that defense is starting to get devoid of top talent. Like, you need talent. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, Bill Belichick knows he still needs talent. Now, that defense is starting to struggle. They don't have names like Dante Hightower anymore. You know, they traded away Jamie Collins 2 seasons ago. So I would not be surprised if they try to use their picks move up and go and gets one of those defensive studs or something, or one of the linemen too.
Now, speaking of the Patriots, could you see them? Because I would not be surprised if they go out and do it. If they're not trying to move up for a defensive player, they're trying to move up for a quarterback. Because I truly believe that, and like there's been rumors that, they're going to move up to get Rosen or Allen. Like, Rosen would make more sense to me if they really want to get aggressive and move up, but and Rosen's not a guy that needs to sit out a year either, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I honestly think they have those first 2 picks in the first and two picks in the first and 2 picks in the second, almost as an insurance policy if they believe that Lamar Jackson's going to go out early.
Yeah.
I feel like they have that as ammo because I think if Lamar Jackson is there for Arizona to take, I think Arizona's going to take him.
Oh, I think they would absolutely love that. Yeah.
So for me, I think the Patriots could move up to, say, 13 because I believe the Cardinals are 14 or something. Like, I don't see – like, the Bills are at 12. The Miami Dolphins are at 11. So if they're going to be there at that time and they don't trade up, because the Dolphins and the Bills, I believe, will trade up. So maybe it's an example on – say the Bills trade up with the Colts. And the Colts, I believe, is that one team that could seriously move back and further back and just build a ton of draft picks. So for me, maybe it's a situation where it's a 1-2 punch where the Bills trade with the Colts to get to 6. And then the Colts trade with the Patriots. The Patriots move up to 12, grab Lamar Jackson, and call it a night.
Could happen. It could happen. I definitely could see that. I could see another team.
I mean, I'm looking later in the draft at like teams that maybe don't have as many needs, who have done a lot in free agency, that similar to us could just trade out of the first round altogether and get into more picks in day 2 or day 3. Minnesota's a team.
Minnesota.
Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is a potential candidate. Minnesota is definitely one that stands out.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of scrolling through the late.
Now the
first
Niners
round
also.
here.
If you're talking about later on in the draft.
Now I thought that the Niners are
Niners, they have
a possibility.
Yeah, they have a bunch of day 2 picks, so I could see them. Ooh, what the hell happened to Ben Simmons?
He's fine.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, come on
My
now.
God. It's curious.
He looks like he learned how to take that fall in the Performance Center.
Yeah,
Wholesale.
just took a bump.
He took a bump.
The Niners have a bunch of day 2 picks, I think, around 3. So I could see them moving up, trading some of their assets, to get higher in the draft.
I don't know that it would shock me if the Browns moved down with that 4th pick.
Yeah.
I completely
I
agree
think
with
the Browns could move down. Maybe they could make a move with New England. New England, if they want to move up that high, could give up those first 2 round picks.
Well,
They could take 1 and 4, move back, take one of those picks and trade with New England and move back. And then they could take the 4th pick and move back to the middle of the round. You're talking about teams like the 49ers, some other teams that might want to move up a little bit. And they could get that and then get second and third round picks.
Who knows what the Browns will do?
I don't know
Oh
what
my
the Browns could
The
draft
Browns.
2 quarterbacks with the number 1
We
and 4
joked
pick.
around about that. That was a total joke.
Mhm.
And then we got the news alert that it could happen. I mean, it could be just hogwash. It could be just BS news. Fake
It's
news,
probably more of them just getting along
but it's
with all
just
the trolling.
really funny.
Is it though? I mean, listen, the one thing, and I listen to Jay Glazer a lot because I obviously think he's plugged in on a lot of this stuff. Obviously,
Glazer's a good guy to talk, listen to.
and he's made a great point every year when he talks about this stuff. These teams, whether they're picking 1 or 32, they have all year to prep for this.
Yeah.
But in that last week, in that last day, they'll talk about things they should never be talking about. They'll bring up a guy they haven't talked about all year. What happened?
Ben
Embiid?
made a nice little.
Ben tried
no,
to
Ben made a nice
was
little
a
move
reverse.
under the basket, and he missed the layup.
Yeah.
But
he missed the reverse.
all
but
right.
it's okay.
So for me, I honestly think, given the Browns' history of completely whiffing at the quarterback position, it wouldn't shock me if they're like, oh, do we pick a quarterback at 1 and 4 because it doubles our chances?
God.
Like seriously, like
If
honestly.
that would happen, I don't know what
That
I would do.
That would bust every draft board that everybody has made.
Yeah,
and
it
totally just deplete. Like, I don't even know. My hands would go up and just whatever would happen in the draft happens at that point.
Now, do I think that's going to happen? No.
No.
They would trade out of the fourth position.
No, but it's
before
fun
they
to
did that.
talk
Oh,
about.
of course, because it's the Browns, and the Browns could do anything
I
or
mean-
nothing at the same time.
I mean, they could also do that with the intention of moving one of those quarterbacks when teams see, oh shit, he's off the board now.
Then
Let's
they
be
make
honest.
yeah.
We know how desperate Cleveland is for a quarterback. They could play poker and say, we're willing to take our shot with one of these two guys and give them
Possibly.
both a chance
mm-hmm.
just to bait another team in making a move. I don't think it's going to happen. It's very unlikely, but it's not an impossibility with the Cleveland Browns. Let's be
Yeah.
realistic.
No, and then for me, I honestly believe with your Patriots point, with the possibility or even the theory, the conspiracy theory that the Patriots could go into the business with the Cleveland Browns, try and move up to 4 and get whoever they want. Even if it's freaking Bradley Chubb, whoever. I mean, they'll have number 4 pick and they can literally do whatever the hell they want. The Cleveland Browns and the Patriots have been in business with each other in years past.
Yes, they have.
So for me, like I think I brought it up to you and Paulie like 3 weeks ago, Charles.
Ooh, Dario.
What?
Airball.
Filthy?
Three-ball airball. Ooh.
Yeah, filthy for the wrong reasons.
All right.
Was well short of the front of the rim.
I had brought up, and obviously this is off the board now given like the breaking news over the last hour that Rob Gronkowski has announced he's going to stay in New England. I brought up the conspiracy theory about 3 weeks ago that the Browns and the Patriots could work out a deal that would send Gronkowski, the 23rd overall pick,
Yeah, you did.
and one of their, and the 31st pick and maybe a second rounder because they have, the Patriots have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds to the Browns for the number 4 pick and like a 4th rounder, for example.
Mhm.
And I thought, okay, that would be not a realistic trade because it's crazy to even think about that, but would it shock me if that happened? No. But clearly now at this point when Gronkowski's off the table, I really don't think that's going to
I
happen.
mean, is the fact that New England's doing completely the opposite of what they always do, which instead of trading back, they're
They're
trading
trading
up. And now with Gronk coming back, it's just I feel like there's so many little subplots that could be with that. Is that showing that the organization as a whole now is taking a different approach because maybe Bill's on his way out at some point in the next year or two? So now they're starting to utilize this
Yeah,
as building for the
could.
future.
It very well
Because
could.
this is anti what the Patriots under Bill Belichick and that regime has been. Also, to me, when I just look at the Gronk thing, I think if Gronk intended to play another 2 or 3 or 4 years, maybe even 2 he will, but I think he would have won it out of New England.
Agreed.
So to me, this is an indication that it's either 1 or 2 more and he's done.
He's going to try and get us one more Super Bowl, and then he'll be out of there.
Yeah, I
he
think-
understands.
I
Yeah.
think that's a clear indication to me that we have a pretty good indication of how long he's going to play.
To answer your question though, on is this the Patriots taking a new approach? Is it a whole new way
Preparing
of thinking?
for the next step in the organization, the next chapter,
Yeah,
so to speak.
with McDaniels.
It is because they have to. Before, it's so different what they're doing this year because they didn't have a 40-year-old quarterback coming off of a great season and not winning a Super Bowl.
Right.
They have a lot of interchanging parts. The Patriots have never had the it guy in the wide receiving core, but now they really
Randy
don't.
Moss is the only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their go-to guy at the moment, freaking Julian Edelman, that's coming off of a major injury. And
Wide
Julian
receiver,
Edelman
yeah.
wasn't a shutdown, wide receiver anyway. He was a system guy.
He's damn good though. For
Oh,
them.
he's very good
But
for
I agree with
them.
you. Right, I agree.
Yes.
I don't know how he would be in another system, but he fits them perfectly.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, and it just boggles my mind though that they were things took such a turn in that organization. Like Garoppolo showing the door. Like,
Yeah.
what a fucking mistake that was. Like, in hindsight now.
I believe all of that. All the drama that happened with that, I 100%
There's like a
believe it.
little part of me that would have loved to have seen, like, all right, we're back in Tom and not Bill. And then Tom, after losing, throws his fit and takes his ball and goes home. Now you don't have Garoppolo. Now you only got Bill after all that shit that Kraft did as far as backing Brady, which is, to me, was an absolute ridiculous approach to that whole situation. And you let a potential stud franchise quarterback who would have been a seamless transition to your next run at the Super Bowl titles, go for nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
Essentially nothing.
what you just said is why I'm so confident that they're going to get another one. Because you look at this dynasty, this whole legacy of the Bill Belichick Patriots, and you can go back every single year. They have not gone in, and I know it's not the biggest role in football, but going into a season, they haven't had the quote-unquote young guy or standard backup quarterback yet. They have never had that in years past. Right now, they do not have the backup to a 40-year-old quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't have a future option.
But the problem with it now is you had the guy in place and you let him go for nothing.
Yep.
We were talking pre-show. Thomas Kennedy, our man, McMahon, our known, was down here with us chatting. And to his point, that's a problem that you can take all these guys' names, throw them up in the air, and whichever one falls, that's where they fall. There's no guy that can step in a year, or at least on the surface, that could step in. If Tom Brady decides to hang it up after this year, there's no guy that could step in. So they're still taking a huge risk moving up, banking on one of these guys being the next guy behind Tom Brady. And there's still going to be a time that they're going to need to develop. Now, if Tom's going to play till he's 45, it's a different story then. I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah.
That long, but
With this current roster, because I'm not saying this roster on the Patriots stinks, but it's not very good. It's not.
it's not on a Patriots expectation.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not at that level that we expect every season to see the Patriots go in with.
I mean, they lost Solder. I mean, that was Brady's protector. I mean, that's the left tackle, okay?
It's his bodyguard.
You lost Brandon Cooks, who didn't really – I never thought he fit the Patriots, but he was your threat. I mean, he was a threat.
Commands
You don't
respect
have
him
a
too, yeah.
shutdown running back. You kind of have a running back by committee, and that's fine.
You lost one of your best cornerbacks.
Yeah.
One of your best defensive backs.
And your defense already kind of sucked. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like –
a lot of holes to fill.
and we always talk about how, especially at the quarterback position, there's no real gradual decrease in play. It's
Right.
kind of you're great, and then you fall off a cliff.
Which is why it's almost like the Patriots, in a way, are now trying to scramble to put the pieces back together when they wouldn't have needed to do this. They had Garoppolo. They could have came in and did all the same moves minus trading Jimmy GQ, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they could have traded Cooks. Now you have 2 picks in the first round. You have the quarterback. Now you start rebuilding that defense. But instead now, you could go out and get that quarterback, and Tom could step away in a year or two, but you got a long way to go with that defense, and they got to get younger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really strong indication of a lot of
Yeah.
things. I'm going to run down Facebook.
Then I'll
Here.
go through YouTube after.
Yeah, we got Dion Brown. He said, we read that. I'm sorry, Dion. But he did say, #Meek Mill. Glad to see the young man home. Nice. Joey Tadaro jumps back in. He says, don't be surprised if the Browns try to trade back with us, with them having multiple picks. I know we kind of tossed that in as a not likely, or who was the team that wasn't
Bills.
the Browns? It was the Bills.
Bills.
12.
Maybe they take Saquon at 1 and offer us something for Nick Foles in 32.
Nah.
I would shit myself if it happened.
No.
I
But
don't think that would happen.
I don't
either.
think it
Joey,
could
don't
happen.
even
That
make me
jump-
start thinking about that,
Yeah.
Joey.
it's not an impossibility, but I don't think it's likely. Tom jumped back in. He says, "Give me Justin Reed." Joey
Ooh.
says, "Moving back, Giants possibly the Colts. They came out and said they
Giants
want
could
more
come back.
picks. Trade up, Bills or Cardinals for quarterback, Packers for cornerback." Or an edge rusher. Ralph jumps in. Ralph Delavecchio. What up, boys? What up, Ralph?
Go Sixers, Ralph.
Frank bothering us at work like the asshole he always is every week, every show. Dickie. He says, sorry to bother you at work. I think that the Eagles will trade the 32nd pick, but do you guys see the Eagles take a chance on Cortland Sutton from SMU if he lands there? If he's there?
If Paulie was here, he would say yes, and he loves Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
I'm not as high, but I do like him, but not there. Cortland Sutton could be gone. There are rumors, there are reports that there are teams that like him, and in the somewhere in the 20s he could be. You could see a run on receivers where it goes Ridley, DJ Moore, and then Sutton. So it's possible that he's out. I don't think the Eagles will take him though. But that's just me.
Dion says, I doubt it, but I hope the wide receiver from Maryland is still around, but there will be no chance.
There's a chance.
At the end of the
There's
day,
a chance, but
they're still the Cleveland Browns. Shake my head. I'm so happy to be out of their category with Cleveland and other teams not winning a championship.
amen to that.
You're right. Hey, guys, just remember,
We won the Super Bowl.
no matter what anybody says, we are still the reigning, defending, undisputed NFL Super Bowl champions
Oh,
of
yeah.
the world.
That's why we picked 32.
And Tom gives us the Phillies update, and he says Phillies are up 3-2. Let's go.
Is that baseball?
Yes, it is. Guy.
It's like the only sport that he would probably actually have a chance to play right now if he was like on a professional level. You could stick him in like second base or some shit.
All right, so David Rosca says Sixers will win Game 5.
What's up, David?
And he
We,
says-
we're with you, David.
And he says, I'm ready for the NFL draft. Everyone should pray for Toronto. Sixers JT says, if Baker Mayfield becomes a Patriot.
I don't want to overpass that. He's right. Everybody
Good.
pray for Toronto.
Mhm.
If
That
Baker,
is really sad.
yeah. If Baker Mayfield becomes a Patriot, do you think Belichick will groom him into an elite quarterback like he did with Jimmy G?
No, you
What just happened?
you missed the pass.
Yeah,
no,
but
you missed the pass.
As great as the pass was, that was Amir Johnson with an
Watching
N1.
it, watching it,
Look at
watching
his-
it. Woo!
No, the back one. Back to him.
That's called ball movement, boys.
Ball
Oh,
movement.
Amir, you're
Quarterback.
proving
They
me
made
wrong.
about 4 passes.
Amir heard you.
They made about 4 passes within 7 feet of each other.
Now he's gonna go 0 for 2 in these.
Shut your mouth.
Stop.
Oh, he listened to me.
There you go.
He made it.
All right. So like I was
Shut
saying,
your mouth when you're talking to me.
Sixers JT did ask if Baker Mayfield becomes a Patriot. Do you think Belichick will groom him into an elite QB like he did with Jimmy G?
I don't
I
know.
could see it happening.
I don't know that he's going to be around long enough to complete the grooming process. But I think between him and Josh McDaniels, yes. I think that there is a possibility that they will bring the best out of him.
If Baker Mayfield went to the Patriots, the world would freaking burn.
God.
Oh, God.
Jacob Taub asked most likely trade back partners for the Birds.
That's a great question.
For me, I would want to trade back with Indy
Agreed.
because they have picks 36 and 37, which are the 4th and 5th picks in the second round. And here's my thing. All right, so you guys all know that I want Geis if we stick at 32. But if we trade back, I obviously think there are running backs there that at the beginning of the second round who would be, really good values. Geis, if we don't pick Geis, he'll still be there. Obviously, we have a chance at him still. You could get Sonny Michel, who's my RB3, and then after him, even Ronald Jones. So the only thing is, if you trade back with someone like Buffalo, who also has 2.
See, I think
Two-
Buffalo's a good
two-
candidate.
The thing is, if you trade back with them, because they have 2 second-round picks, they don't pick until 21 and 24 in the second round, which is 53rd and 56. The teams at the top of the draft, a lot of them are running back needy, so you can see those names in Geis, Michelle, Ronald Jones, and even Nick Chubb. Even though I don't think Nick Chubb would be a good fit in Philly, those 4 running backs all could go early second round. So I don't want to go. If I trade back, I wouldn't want the Eagles to go that far in the second round. I'd want like a high second round pick, and then like a 4th or 5th. So my ideal trade partner would be Indy because you get one of their second round picks, which is the 4th or 5th pick overall. You still have an excellent chance. It's almost guaranteed you get one of those 3 running backs I mentioned, which I would be absolutely happy with. I love those 3 running backs. So that's who I ideally would want the Eagles to trade with.
Just a quick FYI, because it's been so long since she's been on our show. Gina Rambo's back.
Hey,
Gina.
Gina Rambo.
Welcome back, Gina. We miss you. It's been like I don't know if she was on when I missed that one show, but it's been like a month and a half or so.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
She don't like us anymore. Whatever,
She's moved
Gina.
on.
We still like her.
My excitement is out. to the jury right now.
She's moved on.
Okay, so who else? Sixer JT says, imagine Gronk and Joku, the Browns stacked receiving core, and a 1-2 punch with Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson.
10-6.
That team becomes an instant playoff team, regardless of whether Tyrod Taylor is the starter or whoever they draft. It's true. I mean, and then Jacob says, Sixers JT, the secondary would still be a huge concern for the Browns. And that's true. Sixers JT says that's true. Browns are in a similar situation we were in 2 seasons ago. They have one of the best D-lines in football, but everything else, defensive-wise, needs improvement. If they trade fourth and don't end up getting Chubb after they trade after they trade Shelton because he wasn't a scheme fit, what do they have besides Garrett up front? Their defense wouldn't work. So
Well, here's my question to you, Charles. I believe his name is Denzel Ward.
Yeah.
Is that the cornerback? So
yeah, that's the cornerback you were talking about before.
I believe there is a slight if they're there at 4, it's probably going to be Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if it's Ward though.
It would shock me.
Get that shit out of there.
It would shock me because
My prediction?
No, just a Dario
Oh.
challenged him defensively. He missed the layup.
I was going to say fair. That's a fair
Okay.
assessment.
it would shock me because just thinking
Yeah,
of
Ryan, get that shit out of here, Ryan.
I'm sorry.
just thinking
I'll
of
go
who
over it.
else would be on the board because if they're picking up
Fucking
4,
Amir Johnson. Turn back into
Oh my
Amir
God.
Johnson. I'm
Um,
sorry, guys. I'm going to be reacting to
Oh,
the
me too.
Sixers
I know
game
all
the
of us
whole
are. All of us
I'm
are.
not trying to be a dick and cut you off, Charles. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Fucking Amir Johnson.
Because you're thinking about who will be left. So assume they take one of the quarterbacks, right?
Not
In
gonna-
the
Yeah,
first
they'll go
overall.
Darnold
off.
1.
Say Giants go non-quarterback. Say they take Saquon.
Agreed.
The Jets are going to take a quarterback.
Yep.
So Chubb's going to be there.
No. I'm saying they pass on Chubb to take Ward.
I would be very surprised if they pass on Chubb.
I mean, I'm
yeah.
not recommending it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it wouldn't. Again, it's the Browns we're talking about.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. So I would be very shocked, but I mean, I guess the thing with Denzel, he went. He's
Motherfucker, I
full
missed
He's an
it.
court.
animal. He's an
Oh
animal.
my gosh.
It's probably
Um,
going to be a lot more F-bombs than I
oh,
usually
gosh.
drop on this show. Just an
The ending of the
That's
show
it.
is going to get very hectic, by
yeah,
the
it's
way.
going to get very hectic.
Oh,
Um,
screw that shit.
But yes, Denzel Ward. The thing is, I see him as overrated. Some people have him as their top ranked corner. I have him as my 3rd ranked corner. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. I like Jairi Alexander, whose praises I've been singing for weeks now, and I like Mike Hughes a little bit better than Denzel Ward. So
Now, on the Eagles thing, here's a question, and we're putting out this post on all of our social medias at 8:45 on A2Day, so you can vote over there as well. We asked the question. I'll ask you guys now. So obviously the discussion is who is going to announce the Eagles' 32nd pick at the draft, if indeed they are still there.
it's Roger Goodell
They won't have a guest.
for 32nd overall. Roger Goodell does all the first round picks.
I thought they had a guest.
No, that's for day 2.
Okay, I was lied to. So for day 2 then.
Day 2 it's David Akers. Day 3 it's Harold Carmichael.
Is that already determined?
Yeah, it's already determined.
Oh, well, there
I'll
you
be
go.
over here.
That was one of the topics I wanted to bring up. Like, how do you guys feel about David Akers?
They were saying today earlier that
I would like to have
That
seen
w-
Brian Dawkins.
well, that's what they were saying. They were like, oh, they're gonna have a guest speaker because they were talking about how they're gonna get a ton of boos because it's in Dallas and they're gonna be announcing the reigning Super Bowl champs Philadelphia Eagles select. Like they've been talking about it like it's been a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I said day 2 and day 3, I meant round 2, round 3.
No,
Round
I know
two,
what you meant.
Yeah. For any of the viewers, if I mess it up, because I keep saying day and
So the
round.
people on TV,
But
they've
day
been
2
lying to everybody for the past month because that's what they've been talking.
Unless they're
about.
doing
No,
something
day
different.
two,
Maybe they're doing
it's
something
official.
different this year. I
It's
don't know.
official. Day 2 is
No, not day 2. I'm talking 32.
God. Yeah, 32. It's Roger Goodell.
Get your shit together, Charles.
I know. I'm watching this, listening to him.
Dion has a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's off topic, but I like it. Let's have a conversation. He says, quick question, fellas. My boy said it's a, quote, violation, end quote, for me to get my own Eagles jersey custom made with my own number and last name on it. Keep in mind he's a Giants fan. Honestly, I don't even know why we're still friends. LOL. Gina says, hey, Michael, yes, it's been a while. And then she says, hey, Dion, she believes that it is a violation. Do you guys believe that that is a violation?
See, from what I've been told, and the mindset is that it is a violation, I could care less. I really could care less. There are people who think it's a violation for people to wear jerseys. So, but
Fair point. I've heard that.
I'm going to wear a jersey. I don't care. If someone wants to have their own name and number, I'm not going to be one like the point and laugh.
Speaking of,
I would never do it, but
side note. Speaking of jerseys, I just went to my parents' house to clean out some stuff, and I threw it out. I should have bought it just to hold it up. I threw out my Antonio Freeman Eagles jersey. I had an Antonio Freeman Eagles jersey.
Oh, shoot.
But I'll get Ryan's opinion, and I'll throw my opinion in on this.
Couple questions. Well, one main question to Dion, all right? Dion, are you planning on getting a nickname put on the back, or is it going to be your actual name? Because that's the deciding factor. Because I know a lot of people that have the custom-made jerseys.
It's the Milakovic jersey. I was going to hold that shit up.
But they don't have their last name. They have a nickname. If that's the case, Dion, no. Don't do it.
Okay. So
Well, he's got an easy last name, Brown. You could get an 84 Reggie Brown jersey and it could pass.
Or a 32 Bryce Brown jersey.
Yeah.
Right?
For you, Dion, because your last name.
Yeah, Dion, what's
34.
your number? I want to know what your number is.
If you're Dion, if you're planning on getting a number 1 jersey,
86, sorry. 86 was Reggie Brown. 34 was Bryce Brown. Yeah, go ahead. I
34, right? I was wondering.
if Dion says
right.
Brown number 1, violation, or like the double zeros, you know what I mean?
But what if you get? What if he gets Brown and 18 for the Super Bowl year?
Oh, I might actually take that idea.
And then if anyone asks, I got the number for the Super Bowl year. Here's my opinion on this. You spend all this money on jerseys. They ain't cheap. Even the screen press ones aren't cheap.
They're not cheap.
You get whatever you want on the back of your jersey. Because you know what? At least if you have one with your last name on it,
it ain't getting old.
it's never going to get old. I can't tell you how many. I went out and got a McCoy, and then 2 years later he was gone. I went out and got this jersey. Unless you're getting a throwback jersey or like a Carson Wentz, it's all a crapshoot. You never know how long these guys are going to stick around, like real talk. So, in my opinion, your money, you get whatever you want on the back of that jersey. If you want to get Big Dick Dion on the back of your jersey with a number 1, and when people say why you got 1, that's my dick size, 2 scale, guess what, Dion? That is your prerogative, brother.
Rep it, man.
We've got off the rails.
Just saying. But that's my opinion. Like, the whole violation, who cares what you wear, dude?
Yo.
Wear whatever you want to wear, and if you want to spend the money and get yourself a jersey, dude, get your name and get whatever number you want on the back.
Get this, though. I will have to say this is another violation. I saw the year that we we had Chip Kelly, and what was it? What year was it where Marcus Mariota got drafted?
14.
Was it 14?
No, 15. I'm sorry.
15?
Yeah.
Okay, so that year, you know how everyone was saying, "Be ticket strong."
Oh God!
You know, everyone was saying, not everyone,
Ryan
but a lot
is
of people.
slouched over
I know,
over in the production.
He's already
area.
done. You know, a lot of people were saying we should get Mariota. It's a foregone conclusion. I was at an event in Philly at the Link, and it was like April. It wasn't even like close to the draft yet. So I see a guy with an Eagles jersey, custom made, authentic. So he spent money on it. Hit it!
Oh, you hit the freaking.
He said he had spent money on it. Number 8, Mariota. He got a custom made Mariota number 8 Eagles jersey.
So that was the point I was going to make. I knew somebody who had a kid, and they wore the kid's jersey. It was a woman.
Okay.
But she got an Eagles jersey with Brett Favre on it. That's a violation.
Wait.
And the explanation was, I got it for my son because it's his favorite player, but the Eagles are his favorite team, and I said, you can't do that.
Well, tell the kid to grow up and realize that Brett Favre isn't on the Eagles.
Tell the kid that it's okay to wear an Eagles jersey and to wear a Packers jersey of your favorite player, just not when they play the Packers. That's a violation.
Chrome.
Anything else? If you want to get big dick Dion with your dick scale size, go for it, Dion. I don't give a fuck.
I didn't
Do
even
whatever
know
you want.
people did that, Chrome.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing.
That's crazy.
And that was like
no.
10 years ago. So,
Oh God.
and on Facebook,
Dion.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
No.
That was what I thought. That's my opinion,
Oh,
Dion.
well, what is he going?
No, he said. Well, he did say. Well, Gina said off the rails, hysterical.
Yeah.
He said no, it's going to be brown and my high school number 16.
And it's an Eagles jersey, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he
dude,
said
that's
no,
fine.
no, he hate me type of shit, dude. Get whatever you want on that.
I wouldn't. I don't have an issue with it. Just be prepared.
Gina
People
said she
do.
would. Gina said she. I'm assuming she said if she was to do it, she would get Rambo 52.
See, her last name's awesome
He
as
said
well. Like
that-
that's Rambo. Like that
if
would
I
work.
got one,
That's the other Rocky.
Yeah.
like if I got one, I
Yep.
got one, I wouldn't put like Chromiak on it. I would put Chrome.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to each their own. Get whatever you want. You can wear you can put my name on
Well,
there
here,
wear
like,
it if you want.
I'll-
You get permission to put Chromiak, even though I wouldn't. You can have that too if you like.
Like I'll reference and this was right when I started here on A2D. We used to do a show with a guy named Jay,
Okay.
and his nickname was J-Bo. People would call him J-Bo.
Mm-hmm.
And all of his jerseys on the back, he has like 10 custom-made jerseys, and they all said J-Bo. And every time he would wear it, I'd say violation because it's his nickname. Like that's like me making my own jersey and putting the bro on it instead of Brodo. You know what I mean? Just say J.
Is that a thing?
What, the bro? No, I hope not. Oh, God, I hope not. But you know what I mean?
I feel like it's a thing because it just came so effortlessly to come up with that.
No,
did you just give yourself a nickname?
No, we've had this discussion. No, you don't understand.
Going
I used
forward.
to have no. It's not going forward. This stops today.
Over here in the ones and twos, we got the
No,
bro.
this stops today. No, you don't
Guys,
understand.
If you're in real talk,
Oh God.
which is
what
a
did I do?
perfect transition to plug.
Sure. Yeah, I guess
Okay.
so.
So I'm gonna turn this into a transition.
Oh sure.
Draft night. If you watch our wrestling show, Lazy Booking, we're not going to be on this week. We want, Hockey Happy Hour will go on as it usually does because it's hockey playoffs, huge time. We're gonna Lazy Booking will not be on this week. We're gonna leave it open so A2D can do some stuff with the draft. So if you're not in the Real Talk group, you need to be in the Real Talk group because we're gonna have every 6 or 7 picks or so. We're gonna do live video. Some guys are gonna tag team in, almost like a Skype kind of a deal, to recap the draft. And the first segment is gonna be Chuck's with the bro.
The bro is going to be unavailable. Ryan
And
Broda
in-
will be there
And
though.
in the Real Talk group, we need to make this we need to make the bro trending worldwide, guys.
Oh.
So you did it to yourself, buddy.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm ashamed of myself, but I did nothing wrong. Like, you know what I mean? No.
This is what happens when you feed Heel Chrome
Oh.
just a tidbit of too much information.
Well, you've been on a roll today, especially in that said Real Talk
yeah,
group,
Real
haven't
Talk
you?
was lively
Yes.
today, guys. So.
Anyways,
Oh man.
off the rails.
No, but you don't. The reason why it came out so fluently.
Yes.
Literally 2 years ago, every show it would be talked about. J-Bo, Jersey, the bro. It was like, so I guess I said it so quickly because it was literally my life 2 years ago.
Well, it's time to turn back time.
It ends today. It ends today.
Gina says my hubby is John Rambo, and Dion says John Rambo effing nice. Why am I say effing? I say fucking all the time. Fucking nice. At Gina, that's awesome. Very next door neighbor's name. My next door neighbor's name is Richard Nixon. All facts in black. LOL. Nice. That's why I love our chats, guys.
Yes.
You guys are the
Oh,
best.
I'm gonna run down a bunch on YouTube.
Yeah, we're caught up on Facebook anyway. Let's get. I don't know where we left off.
Yeah.
So let's just start it fresh.
yeah.
Clean slate.
I'm gonna take a walk.
Dion, get whatever jersey you want to get, buddy.
Yes. Jacob Taub says, if we can package Kendricks and 32, I'd be satisfied with 36 or 37 and 48 from the Colts if possible.
Okay.
I don't know if they would do that trade, but I would do it in a heartbeat.
I would do that too.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Sister JT says, imagine if Saquon falls to 4 and the Eagles trade with the Browns for 4. Don't even tease me. There's no possible way that could happen, but so Lewis Demon says, Doubt it. We probably go Geis or trade back. Yeah,
I
say
agree
yeah.
with that. I don't think anybody else is that appealing or crazy for the
Yeah.
Eagles at this point.
Jacob says. Jacob Top again says Gettleman has not revealed anything at all, but I think Saquon as of right now. I do agree. I think he's gonna go Saquon. Don't destroy me, but I have Michelle as my RB2 over Geis, just because he seems like more of a 3-down, do everything back. Jacob, I early on in my evaluation process, I agreed with that. I was questionable. I questioned Geis's passing ability, but the more I watched and the more I did research,
JoJo.
it's actually not true. Geis was recruited into LSU as a wide receiver until he was converted, so he does have receiving experience. And also, LSU, their system isn't they don't incorporate running backs into their passing game in their system. They just don't. Like Leonard Fournette, he never caught the ball in LSU, but it's not that he couldn't. Like if you watch Leonard Fournette this year with the Jags, he caught passes fine. Like even at the combine, he showed more natural hands than Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook, he's a good receiver. So I wouldn't say Geis can't be a 3-down back. Geis has shown me enough for me to say that he can be a receiving back. And trust me, like I've seen so much of Geis where I'm just like, if you haven't seen, I have my finalized running back rankings on ATD's website. Posted the article yesterday. I go into detail when it comes to Barkley, Geis, and I ranked my top 15 running backs. Check it out if you can, but I'm telling you, Geis is the real deal, and that's why I would love him at 32. I'd be pounding the table for him at 32 because he is a top-tier talent. Ronald Jones, Sixers JT says Ronald Jones, Nick Chubb, Sonny Michel. We've got options. Yeah, we do have options. Those are the guys I mentioned. Jacob says I love Jaire Alexander at 32. I think he's an extremely underrated talent. He is. Texas JT says I like Geis over Sony, but I think Sony's the third best in the draft at that point, which I agree with. Jacob says this is unique. This is a unique draft because besides the 8 or so elite prospects at the top, the talent gap between the middle of the first round from the top of the second is really small. That I don't disagree with that. We don't. Foolish Demon says we don't need a 3-down back. That's the beauty of it. I disagree. I disagree with that.
Offensive foul.
Jacob says Ajayi is not
Ono
coming
Olynyk.
back.
Yeah.
And I think they all agree. I think Sixers JT and Jacob pretty much said that. Jacob says I'm really high on Clement. Honestly, I think secondary is our biggest need. I don't think we have a biggest need. I think we are pretty
tight end. That's it.
Just
me,
depth, just filling
tight
out
end
depth.
depth.
I think it's just
Yeah.
depth.
I think
Offensive
not
line
the fact that
depth.
we don't have a clear-cut number 2 tight end to me makes that a need. Everything else is depth.
Yeah, like Richard Rodgers is not gonna. He's not gonna sell it for me.
Yeah.
He's not.
Foolish Demon says Isaiah. I'm almost caught up. Foolish Demon says Isaiah Oliver would be nasty in Philly too. I like Isaiah Oliver, but I don't think he's on the same tier as Jai Reed, Denzel Ward, or Mike Hughes. Jacob says, I hope we destroy Wade in his last game tonight. He says, yeah, Oliver has shutdown potential for sure. Sixers JT says, I want Brian Dawkins for the second round.
That's what I said. I agree with you, Sixers JT.
I think a lot of people wanted him.
I don't want to shit on Akers though. I love Akers. I think he's awesome, but this is a good time to have Brian Dawkins be the guy.
Yeah. Jacob says Dawkins and Westbrook because they actually impacted the team. I think Dawkins and Westbrook would be good people for second and third round because Dawkins was a second round pick, Westbrook was a third round pick.
But yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. But to me, and again, I don't read too much into this stuff. We love them all, but I like the idea of having guys from different eras or generations, which is why I'm not opposed to having Dawkins and Carmichael. I like that idea.
I don't disagree with that. That's a good point. Sixer JT says, I've come to the conclusion I'm only getting jerseys of retired players. You never know with current players.
That's what I mean, unless it's Carson Wentz, essentially that's all I do. I get T-shirts of the other guys.
Coming from someone who still has a fucking DeMarco Murray jersey hanging in his closet.
I have 2.
I have a Nnamdi Asamoah jersey.
God.
Fucking beat that.
I have a Shady McCoy jersey
I
that
have a Shady.
converted into a DeMarco.
Oh, you should have kept it
Oh,
shady.
I know,
You
trust
could
me.
still wear the
I'll bring
shady
it-
jersey.
Remind me next week. I'll bring it here just to show off how foolish I am.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I actually have a legitimate DeMarco Murray jersey, and both of them, they don't really do much anymore.
You already converted one. Why did you get another one?
Because I was young and stupid, all right?
Jesus Christ.
Well, no, to be honest, one of them was a Christmas gift, and I didn't want to waste it.
Hashtag the bro talk.
The bro.
We're ending this today. Foolish Steven's already saying he's going to start calling me by a
Foolish-
different name.
Foolish dude says Ryan the Brodo. I'm sticking to it.
Yes.
I think it's
Love it,
pronounced
Foolish.
Ryan the Bro Doe,
Doe,
but
yes.
either way.
Oh my god.
Listen, if we're going
He
to do it, we're
even
gonna,
properly pronounced the nickname right. I
Yes.
love it.
I love it. I
Ryan
love
the
it.
bro
Listen.
Doe.
I told myself all this time I was not going to give myself a nickname. Now
Son.
I've been forced to.
Yes.
You could say that we did it to you. That's fine. We'll give you an out.
We'll pretend.
Yes.
We'll pretend.
And then what did he say? Jacob asks any late round gems you love. Foolish Demon says Ian Thomas, Dalton Schultz. If we're going tight end, I'll stick with the theme. I'm going to throw out some names out there. I like Durham Smythe, who's been linked to the Eagles a lot. Christopher Herndon, and also Tyler Conklin, who's going to be like, you're talking about like, he could be around 5'6", but still he's very versatile. So those are some late round tight ends that to throw out there. And then Foolish Demon says, "No, I'm foolish at the bro."
At the bro. Yes. This is a thing. Foolish Demon. Not just on BOAF, though. You need to continue to do this, The Fix.
Yes.
Whatever other shows he appears on, he is the bro. Doe.
The bro.
I'm going on
Duh.
strike.
The bro.
Ryan's gonna need a mental hiatus. Did Brian Colangelo set this up, Brodo?
Listen. I can't confirm nor deny.
Gina said, real quick, I'll jump a few down. We could say we're gonna be back on YouTube for the second half coming
Yeah.
up. We're gonna talk Sixers.
We're caught up
too.
anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gina said, I lost my track where I was at. Shit.
She was shouting out the A2D fam.
She did shout out the A2D fam. Yes.
I got to hear. If
Oh,
you-
she said,
oh,
"Thank
yeah,
you, Dion, for the assist. Them going off the rails." She shouted out the A2D fam. We're awesome. You're awesome. All of us. We're the fam. We're awesome. Dion says, "Gina, I'm back on track. Excuse me, sorry, fellas. Back to talk. But Chrome, thanks you, brother. I got your back, Dion, always." Gina asks where Tom is at.
He's always here.
He's
Tom never leaves.
he's watching.
the A2D studio.
Yeah,
but
he's watching. From somewhere.
He's nearby.
Tom's nearby. So Tom will sporadically jump on as a guest when we need. But Tom is not here. Or if there's something exciting and we want to bait him into coming down, which the night's young. We still may do
If
that.
this game gets out
Might
of hand,
happen.
we
But if
might,
there's-
we might
yeah.
be
It
seeing
might have
him.
to.
Yeah, he might come down with fucking flames coming out of his ears. And then Dion said, and we don't know what Billy Brown is as of yet.
That's a good point.
Tight end. So I mean, I'm with. There's
They like him. I mean, he's a practice squad guy, but they've been very open and honest. They do like him.
worth a look.
Yeah.
To me, as a third guy, I'm down for that. I think they need. I feel like they need a little bit.
You need
something
more than just Billy Brown as your second guy.
Yeah, and I'm not saying whoever, if they draft a tight end at 32, anything's a sure thing, but I would feel more confident giving him those second tight end reps and then having Brown kind of come in and earn his spot.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Noah's been saying a lot on Wednesdays that he believes that Selleck will be back. He
No.
really, truly.
I think Selleck will be back, too. I don't think he's going to find a job elsewhere.
I agree.
So
I think there's a very good chance
for
of
a
it.
significant amount of less money than what he was going to
When
be
he
making.
initially
think-
said that, I thought he was just being sentimental. But the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, possibly.
Well, listen, in fairness, and I think you were here, I did ask that when we talked about him getting cut. I said, is it an impossibility that if he's not picked up by another team,
That's what he did
that
say.
he decides to come back?
Yeah.
It's something that has sat in the back of my mind. And then, listen, at this point, he's not anywhere else on the other 31 other teams. So
Mhm.
Gina said she thought she saw him post in here. Tom pops in and out of the post every now and then
Yeah.
for us.
What do you got for?
Let's see. Jacob does. Hold on. Foolish Demon says it's like Family Guy when Chris became popular. Griffey, the bro, doe.
you guys.
Jacob does ask opinions on Trey Sullivan. I mean, I think he's a developmental guy still. He showed a lot of like spunk in the preseason. He had a couple big hits. I don't know if I'd bank on him making the roster just yet, but he's definitely someone that you want to keep around for practice squad
For sure.
preseason.
For sure.
Yes.
I'm caught up on Facebook. You want
TTP
Yeah.
chimes in
Yeah.
saying #Meek is freed. What's going on, TTP?
Yes, TTP.
Big
Hey.
night,
Ballin'.
TTP. You're here just on time, buddy.
Yeah, and then if you guys wanted some more late round names, again, I'll just mention late round names from my article. I mean, Ito Smith from Southern Miss, Royce Freeman, Kerryon Johnson, Mark Walton, Justin Jackson, Darrell Williams, Kalen Balazs. Those are the guys that probably rank.
That wasn't a
So-
good shot.
Brick.
Not a good shot.
Those are running backs, by
Who's
the way.
back on defense?
God
For
damn.
Christ's sake.
Well, looks like Covington.
Why is it a 1-point game, dear Lord?
We may be a little bit behind on you from you guys because we're streaming it, so we might be like 30 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Dion says Celtics agents turned down 2 offers from the NFC East teams, so it's
Good.
likely. I hope so. At
doesn't wanna
least
play
for
in the
another
NFC
year.
East.
Hell yeah. So
It's hard. It's hard for me to see especially if they draft someone. It's hard for me to see the team bringing him back. But it's not an impossibility.
I don't
It's not
see
an
it as that
impossibility.
impossible. I mean, if they don't,
It's not impossible. It's not possible.
We went down. Did we not go down the tight end free agency list?
Oh, God.
The
oh,
one
it's horrific.
Yeah,
it
we
was not good.
did. No.
It's horrific.
Well, when they have to sign a guy like Richard Rodgers that's done nothing in his career, I know he was a depth move, but still, like that. Like, the top guy was freaking Trey Burton.
Right.
That
Yeah.
was the top.
That
Him and
was the
Jimmy
guy.
Graham, who can't catch a ball anymore.
And no knock on Trey Burton because we love Trey Burton. He was very good.
He's good.
very good, which is why I was careful with what word I used in this system and in that role. And I think he earned the chance to be a number 1 guy, but he was totally overpaid.
Mhm.
Given
He was
but
overpaid,
you knew
yeah.
that was going to happen,
Yeah.
which is why I found it hilarious that he was crying about that the Eagles didn't go after him. They knew he was going to get overpaid. Why even bother?
Mm-hmm.
Gina says Selleck's a 100 dog. He's not going anywhere. I truly believe Selleck was trying to get that payday, and I really believe that Selleck had the idea in his head that they'll never cut me.
Well, I think it was 2 things. I think number 1, I agree with you, and 2, he probably wanted to test the waters because he hasn't done that in years. So he probably thought to himself, this is the last chance I'll get to see what I'm truly worth. I just won a Super Bowl. I was a huge leader there. Maybe a young team like the 49ers, because when they cut him,
We did mention that would be a good landing
I was
spot,
like, okay,
correct,
if he
you
goes
did.
somewhere, it's 49ers. But for me, I think at the end of the day, if he truly wants to play again, and the Eagles they're a winner. I mean, they could easily be back right where they were last season.
Yep.
Listen, I think it's 50-50. I really do. It's
Yeah.
just about how much he wants to play again.
Dion says, I'd like to see the tight end from South Carolina, Hurst, in Eagles green if he's there at 32.
Maurice Hurst.
Yes.
Oh, I don't think he's gonna be there, but if he's there, I would
Oh,
love him. Oh my God, he's a beast. Yes, beast. Oh wait, hold on. He's talking about tight end, not the D line. No, I don't like Hurst.
All right. So
I don't like Hurst.
we're going to go to break. If you're joining us on Facebook, hop over to the YouTube for the second half. We're going to talk Sixers. Not
What
going
are
to
you
lie.
doing?
Not gonna lie, we're probably gonna not come back until the end. There's only about from our feed 3:30 left. We ain't coming back from break until the feed until this quarter is done. We're gonna take a short break, then we'll be over on the YouTube. We'll continue to talk draft. We'll continue. We will talk Sixers a little bit more, especially as this game's going on, and whatever else you guys want to talk about. Want to talk about jerseys, dick sizes, the bro,
The
dough.
bro.
The bro dough. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll be on the other side with that. Live from the BMW of Atlantic City studios, BMW of AtlanticCity.com. First half of the show brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Poll question brought to us by StreamSmart. I'm sorry, not StreamSmart. It's Canzano Sports. CanzanoSports.com. StreamSmart's our second half sponsor. On the other side, Brodo, the bro,
The bro.
dough, Chucks, Chrome. We'll see you guys there. Glad my first word wasn't the F word that I just dropped. Anyway, welcome back live to Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios.com, BMW of Atlantic City.com. Second half brought to you by Stream Smart. Got that one right this time, boys. Poll question brought to you by Scanzano Sports, scanzanosports.com. With the 32nd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Darius Geis, Connor Williams, Justin Reed, Dallas Goedert. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you said it right.
I finally got it right. Or we have a trade. If you guys jumped from YouTube or from Facebook to YouTube, thank you for making the jump. If you stuck with us on YouTube, you guys are spectacular. Thank you for doing that. We'll continue to go over your comments, questions. We're on Periscope for the second half, which will be great. We're going to continue to talk Eagles. We're going to talk Sixers. First half's about to wrap up. Tight game. I know it's been a little spotty for us as far as what we've seen, boys, because we've been on the air and we've tried to pay attention and do this at the same time. But what do you got? What do you think so far with the Sixers? How we looking?
I mean, for me, on the little I've seen, going through the first half, going by the other games in the series, especially what that's taught me. If the Sixers in chat help me out here, if you've seen this, in your perspective, because I'm sure they've been going dual screen, us and then obviously the Sixers. Yeah. If the Heat maintain the same mentality that they did, in games past, if they did the same thing in this first half, I would be really surprised if they're able to maintain that type of energy late in the game because they haven't been able to do that yet.
Yeah.
This Sixers team, while young, and they show themselves, they show their age early in games. Mm-hmm. Able to kind of get to the half and then regroup. This team's a closer.
Yeah.
And the Miami Heat, they seem like they kind of fade away. So if that's the case, chat, let me know. Trust me, like I said, I think they're going to win by 20 points. I really do think the Sixers are going to pull away from the Heat in the second half.
Yeah, I just think from my spotty observations, we're forcing some shots. We're hitting, we're making great passes. We're doing a lot of great passing, but we're forcing a few jumpers. Like the Bellinelli one. Bellinelli. Almost as good of a nickname as the Bro, no.
The Bro.
But, some kind of foolish fadeaways, forcing shots that you don't necessarily need to make an extra pass. But, I mean, they seem to be moving the ball for the most part fairly well. And we've seen it. For Miami to beat us, they have to shoot the ball really well with a high efficiency. Or have Dwayne Wade turn the clock back 7 years and play like Dwayne Wade did 7 years ago. So I'm not discouraged. I feel like we make really good second half adjustments as well. And we've been a second half team. How many years do we talk about this team and not being able to close games? Even in those 18-win and 10-win seasons, they could have had more wins, but they could never close it out. Every time I watch this team, they were 3 quarters and done. And now it's so refreshing, so rewarding as a fan to watch this team and see how they play now in fourth quarter, with, a lot of high intensity and obviously a very, very pressure-filled situation. They knock shots down, and that's a tribute to obviously the amazing talent that we have with Embiid and Simmons, but also I think that's having guys like Redick in the locker room to help to turn this team over to the next phase, which we're now seeing the fruits of the labor. But I'm not discouraged by what I've seen in any way, shape, or form.
What do you guys think? Because obviously, especially in these Facebook groups, people have been completely panicking on this topic. So we don't see Markelle Fultz in Game 4, okay? People were saying, oh, are they shutting him down? Why bring him back? What are your opinions on that? Because my opinions are very strong, but I want to hear from you guys. Is that a big deal? Do you have any opinions of that? Or
No.
No.
I think what we saw from him late in the season was encouraging, but we didn't know if we were even going to see this guy this season. For me, we're seeing the guys that got us to the dance at this point, and we're seeing other guys who now when playoff basketball starts, they've upped their game even more so. When you talk about an Ilyasova and Bellinelli and these guys who have played even better than when they were in the preseason, in the regular season, you got to go with the hot hands. And it's not a knock on Fultz. That doesn't set Fultz back. Fultz was we bought Fultz back to see what we had, what he can contribute. It's not saying that the kid can't contribute, but what's working now is what's been working for us all season. This isn't preseason. This isn't times to experiment. You know, if you want to bring the kid in and give him a shot and see if he has a hot hand that night or he's seeing the court really well to make the right passes, cool. But if Brett brings him in and he doesn't like what he sees the first 4 or 5 or 6 minute rotation he plays, and somebody else like a TJ McConnell is producing and lifting the team more, you got to go with who's getting you there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't have a strong opinion about it. I think that the rotations that Brett Brown has been using have worked. So I don't really have any issue with it. I think that him getting minutes in the playoffs, considering his season and what's going on with him and what's happened with him in this season, is already just like, wow, that's awesome that he's getting minutes. I think that it'll come along. I wouldn't be surprised even if he has a bigger role in the second round. You know what I mean? Like maybe maybe there's just he's getting his feet wet. Maybe there's a matchup that he doesn't like. Maybe something like that. So who knows? Maybe second round is different.
Great point. I think it's about matchups too. I think it does more detriment to the kid if he's coming in, he's not producing and forcing, as opposed to, you know what? Maybe this isn't the time to utilize what he can contribute. Next round, you give it another go, see what matchups are there. You put him in a better situation to succeed. I totally agree with that.
The main thing, and I agree with a lot of what you guys, pretty much all of what you guys have said, it comes down to one sole thing. And no, I don't think it's a big deal because, like you said, Chrome, we didn't know if this kid would even be seen on a court at all this season.
Yeah.
I completely put it out of my mind. I didn't even worry about it. I think the same for you, Chrome. We were kind of like, whatever. Like,
even when he played, I wasn't sure if he was going to be in the postseason rotation anyway.
Yeah. So it comes down to one thing, and the main, I guess, phrase or title people have been calling this series versus the Heat: physical, emotional. Two things I don't think a 19-year-old kid should be thrown into. I really don't. Because, and this is not a knock on Fultz whatsoever, he doesn't have the NBA body yet. He's not a Ben Simmons. Markelle Fultz still needs to grow into his body. He does. He's not someone that is going to be the size of Simmons, obviously, for obvious reasons. But to throw this kid in the little experience that he's had, not only in the season, but he's never played in the playoffs before, and you have guys like James Johnson, Justice Winslow, Hassan Whiteside, Kelly Olynyk, very physical players, they're going to be going after this kid. And by no means, because I'm sure people at home will be saying, Ryan, do you think Markelle Fultz will be able to handle it? No, not at all. But like we've been talking about, matchups. And people have been saying, oh, why is TJ McConnell playing? Markelle Fultz on a bad day is better than TJ McConnell on his good day. Emotion. We talk about how much we love TJ McConnell because he's the heart and soul of this team. He's scrappy, and I think that's a compliment to TJ. So I think if a Hassan Whiteside or a James Johnson, guys that are obviously bigger than TJ, go after a TJ McConnell, TJ's not going to mess around.
Right.
You know what I mean? So having a guy that's going to bring out the most as far as emotion, another layer, I think TJ McConnell works better for this series than a Fultz. And Fultz is going to be seen a lot when they play either the Celtics or the Milwaukee Bucks. I truly believe that.
Yeah, and I think that's a very valid point that you make there. And the thing, too, is I forgot my point there. Never mind. Go ahead. I'll get it in a second. I had a brain fart. I started looking at this TV for a second.
I did want to get in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I did want to get in. Paulie left a comment.
Oh, what's going on,
Paulie? On our Birds of a Feather post. He says, fellas, halftime entertainment is loud, so I can't hear shit. I'm all about Connor Williams at 32. Gives you versatility, can play all 5 positions along the line, and will eventually compete with Big V to play on the other side of the lane. that is when me feeling like Geis may not be there. So that was Paulie giving in his 2 cents.
Thanks, Paulie, for dropping in.
Thanks,
As we mentioned
Paulie.
earlier, Paulie's not on. It's a tough time of year for Paulie because he covers for NBC primarily. He ends up doing draft coverage
He's a big guy.
and Sixers coverage, and there's a lot of that going on
Yes.
now, so his responsibilities are
Yes.
where they need to be. My point I was going to make, it just popped back in my head. When you were talking about the toughness, too, he didn't play a full season. And when he played in a secondary rotational role.
Mhm.
I agree with you. Not that I don't think he can develop that ability to handle that physicality, but I just don't think there's been enough from his tenure this season to where when it's playoff time and you're in a physical series, I want to test the waters and see. I agree. I think that the matchup is going to be a big factor in how much he plays and his production, flat out his production. And I think a full season next year, an off season where he can bulk up a little bit because he needs to do that, I think will do wonders for him. And a whole season to kind of get away and distance himself from all the drama that was going on.
Yeah.
So, real quick over here on YouTube, Gina Rambo chimes in. She made the jump from Facebook
Love
to
it,
YouTube.
Gina. Thank you.
She asked if the feed stopped on Facebook. Yeah, Gina, we stop and 1 hour in on Facebook, and we finish off the show on YouTube and the website, obviously. Dion joined in.
Sweet.
He says, boom,
Dion.
Mr. Brown is in the building. Let's go. Charles, you want to finish? Ralphie's in here,
Yeah.
obviously. He said, if the Giants get Barkley, I'll cry myself to sleep. I will as well, Ralphie.
Jacob didn't make a comment before we went to break. I did want to answer real quick. He says, "What are your realistic dream scenarios for the draft?" I think thinking about it, this would be my realistic dream scenario. Geis at 32. We trade Kendricks and one of our 4th round picks to trade up back into the 3rd round. In the 3rd round, we draft Chukwuma Okorafor, offensive tackle from Western Michigan, who is not a powerful tackle, but he is a good mover.
This is his strength.
Which is like a zone blocking kind of offensive tackle who also lacks with technique. Obviously, that's why he's projected to be a day 3 guy, day 2, day 3 guy. But with good coaching, he could be kind of like that Lane Johnson to who's good at the 2nd level. And then for our 4th round pick, we draft Durham Smythe, the tight end out of Notre Dame, which is the tight end we have been the Eagles have been linked to and brought in for a lot of visits and workouts and stuff. So I think the interest in him on day 3 is legit. So that would be my dream scenario for the first 4 rounds for the Eagles. If that would happen, I'd probably cry.
And I'm going to agree because I have nothing else to contribute to that.
And to Ralphie's comment about Saquon Barkley too, trust me, I've been saying it for months, even when we were still in the season. I do not want Barkley to the Giants. But I will say this, and I forgot to say this in the first half. I think with the demand at quarterback, if the Giants stay at 2 and draft Barkley, they're kind of missing out on a chance to trade back.
I don't think I was going to follow up with that. A, I don't think the Giants take Barkley, and B, I don't think the Giants stay in 2. I think they trade back.
With
what? Oh, with who?
It could be a multitude of teams.
Yeah, it could be a lot of.
I mean, every team we
It
named
could be the
earlier
Browns
as far
at
as
4.
trading up.
Maybe they trade back 2 spots at 4. Who knows?
Oh, hell.
Who knows?
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Browns try and go 1
and 2.
Could you imagine?
Because then they would
What
get.
if they went 1 and 2 and took 2 quarterbacks?
Well, then I would hang it up. Then I would really take that couple month vacation. I would hang it up. I'd be done.
Crum's face was just priceless when he said that.
No, but I mean it's not an impossibility.
It's
I can
not
see them
an
trade back
impossibility at
even
all.
further. I don't know. I mean, a team that's later that definitely needs a quarterback that could be concerned that one of them falls off.
Well,
Possibility.
that kind of leads into my next question for you guys and the people at home, because I really want to see what the people at home have on this.
New England could move up to number 2.
It takes so much.
The Giants
take
wouldn't go
their
into
whole-
business with the Patriots.
That's true.
They would
true.
not.
I don't think they give a shit at this point.
I think they do. I really listen. If that organization's worried about, are we gonna piss off Eli? Are we going to piss him off? Is the Manning family going to be upset with us? I don't. If they're going to worry about that, I don't think they're going to go into business with
Listen,
New
with
England.
the way they handled that last year, they should be worried about that.
Well,
They should be ashamed of themselves.
They're all fools up there. What's your mock draft for the top 5?
Oh,
How will
God.
the top 5 go?
Shoot.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'm not a
That's
mock
tough.
draft guy.
Are we including trades?
Oh, please.
Oh, jeez. Now, see, that opens it up because, all right, okay, gun to my head. 1, I think it's Darnold.
Yeah, I think Darnold will probably go 1.
But that's really tough because I can see the Browns going Allen, but I think it'll be Darnold. 2, I think the Giants are stupid enough not to trade back, and I think they take Saquon. 3, the Jets go Baker. 4, the Browns take Chubb. And 5, the Broncos trade back. I think the
With?
Broncos trade back. I think they trade back with the Bills. And the Bills get Allen.
Foolish Demon asks, will we ever see a year where no team needs a quarterback in the first round?
Never.
No.
No.
Never.
Nope.
Ever. Nope.
Case in point, we've talked about it. We ran down the quarterback list. And I think the quarterback position is on a real high now overall. When you talk about the veteran guys who were top-tier guys for a long time and are still producing, down to the young quarterbacks in this league. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And you'd still take probably Nick Foles would fall in that top 20.
So
I think we had him at 19, right?
So yeah. So my someone asked me, they're like, well, you've seen in the playoffs, the top 4 teams who made it to the conference championships and the Super Bowl. They had what? You had Tom Brady, but then you had a backup in Nick Foles, a backup in Case Keenum, and then a horrible quarterback in Blake Bortles.
Mhm.
So they're like, so what's to stop teams from saying like, oh, I just need a great team around me and good quarterback play, not elite quarterback play. What I say to that is, you still need good quarterback play, and you need that. To me, that just boosts the need for the quarterback. Even if you have it doesn't take away what you need from your starting quarterback. It just adds what you need from your backup.
You'll never have.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you need now. Teams are like, okay, not only do I need a capable starter, but I need a capable backup.
Well, we just changed. I mean, we really did kind of change the landscape of the NFL in a sense of people now realize how important that. I mean, you always knew it.
Yeah.
But to see how important and the level that it was for us, even with all those injuries and everything, and how much a guy like a Nick Foles stepped up, it was huge. But then, and it goes to what I was saying too, you're always going to need the next generation to come in.
Yeah.
It's always going to be older guys that even if they're 2 or 3 years away, there's going to be a handful of guys that are going to be first-round type talents,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not difference makers immediately, but guys that you can sit behind a Drew Brees or a Tom Brady if they ever decide to replace him.
Yeah.
To where they're going to go in the first round because their talent is undeniable that they're worth that first round pick.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's ever going to be a team that doesn't need one. There's a team that needs one that won't fucking take one this year, and that's the Arizona Cardinals, who put $30 million into their quarterback situation,
Oh, we're talking
which
about
I'll
that
never
again.
get over that.
Well, I was
The
actually
equivalent to Eric Hosmer in baseball.
I was talking to a buddy of mine the
Terrible.
other day about the Arizona Cardinals, and I told him, and I'm glad you reminded me because I meant to bring it up earlier. They screwed
You're welcome, the bro doe.
Bro.
Bro doe.
No, have no response to that. I had said that they really got into their quarterback issues, not this year, not when they signed Bradford and Mike Glennon. It's when they didn't move up last year. It's when they stood pat. They said, we're fine. Patrick Mahomes will be here. Oh, Deshaun Watson will be here. Kaiser will be here. Or no, Kaiser was there, but they're like, oh, wait, no, we'd rather be desperate than take Kaiser. You know what I'm saying? Because they got leapfrogged twice.
Mhm.
And even I saw a little bit of a quote on Twitter from Saints head coach Sean Payton, and he said that. Oh, did he miss that?
Yeah, fucking Rocco.
Of course. Well, there you go. He had said that if Marshawn Lattimore had been taken at 10 instead of Patrick Mahomes, the Saints would have drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
So the Chiefs obviously went up and took Patrick Mahomes at 10. They traded up.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints took Lattimore. Then the Texans moved up to 12. So the Cardinals, who were at 13 because we were at 14, they got leapfrogged twice.
Yeah. Wow.
And they could have had Mahomes or Watson.
Yep.
And they said,
Now
we'll
we're good.
stay.
They'll be there when we get there.
And maybe they tried to get up there. But guess what? They didn't do what the Eagles did. They didn't do what the Bills are trying to do. They didn't do what the Jets did this year. They didn't say, we see our guy. That's the most important thing. We're going to do whatever it takes to go up and get him. And you look where they are now. They're going to get leapfrogged again by most likely the New England Patriots.
Look what the Eagles did, and at that time, I won't lie, I thought they were crazy to give up what they gave up to get up to number 2 to take Wentz. But if that's your guy, you take your guy. It's another cheap shot.
Slapped him right in the freaking head. Oh,
Josh
calm
Johnson.
down. Oh, it's
Josh
Dario.
Josh Johnson's complaining about something.
Dario's going to
Running
start
his mouth
throwing
again.
punches one of these games. I mean, every game he just looks like he's going to just start throwing hammers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was that a foul on Dragic?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Hold him
Had to
back.
Scumbag.
Had
Hold
to
him
be.
back.
Or was it? Did they call a foul on Simmons? I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
Oh no, they probably threw it. The way Brett Brown's talking to him. Don't tell me they threw a technical on friggin' Dario.
They
Hey,
might
Greg.
have. I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
God.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals made mistakes, and now they're making even more mistakes with who they're signing at quarterback. What was a technical on the thing
there was a technical.
on the Heat? Oh well, but
Brett's still going crazy.
yeah,
Well, I mean, let me be fair to the Arizona Cardinals. All right, if Sam Bradford stays healthy,
What's up, stud?
which he's not going to, but if Sam Bradford stays healthy with that roster, they can win 8 or 9 games. I'm not saying they're going to be trash,
they could.
but they've handcuffed themselves.
Yeah,
They've completely handcuffed themselves.
Yeah.
They could have had this all done and over with. They could have been 2 years into a system if they actually did what they needed to do and moved up a little bit last year.
When their quarterback situation fails, is that a 3?
yeah,
Covington
Nice.
actually made
yeah.
one.
When their quarterback situation fails, mid-season, before the trade deadline, do they finally move Larry Fitzgerald to a contender?
I don't think Larry. I think Larry's too loyal to leave.
I don't know, man. At this point, he's hitting on twilight years. If I'm him, I'll go. If you're willing to do, and if it can get them an asset to grow for the future,
I would love for him to go to a contender. I don't think if you ask him, and if
He always said he would go to the Patriots, though. There's an opportunity and they're contending. I could see him going.
Well,
there
too bad.
I'd
'Cause
be
if he goes to the
pissed. Need.
Patriots, we'll just beat him again.
He loves
So.
Bill Belichick. He's been very vocal about that.
Well, I don't know if I've told you guys, the Patriots aren't winning another Super Bowl. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, we ended that.
not.
dynasty.
I don't think they are in this. Not with this regime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like in the night, like they're not winning another one. It's not happening. They're not good
Yeah.
enough. They're
I
not.
Think, I think the Jags are a better team, even with Blake Bortles. I think the Chargers could be a dark horse
Fucking
contender.
Jags. I really wish they would have went out and got like a Kirk Cousins
I know.
or an Eli Manning.
That's why I want to ask you guys as
I
well.
know.
Speaking of next year, did you guys have any immediate thoughts on the Eagles schedule? 'Cause
Oh,
obviously that was
there you
released.
go.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that. I totally forgot to mention
Right, we didn't mention.
that.
that. We didn't
I
mention
like
it
that
last, yeah, because they tried to talk about that on
Yeah.
Lazy Booking with us, but we didn't see it
that's
yet.
I like that our bye week comes in the middle of the season again. I either wanted like a week 5 bye week or right in the middle. So I do like that. I like that the Redskins we play in the finale, the regular season finale. So they changed it up. It was always either the Giants or the Cowboys.
We play them
Should've-
2 in the last 6 games, correct?
Yeah, something like that.
Prime time open up against Atlanta. I like it.
I like it.
Eskin screwed
Did I
up.
tell you my theory?
Home game in.
Did I tell you my theory?
What was your theory?
Okay, my theory for those who haven't heard it is, I
haven't
think
heard it, so
I think the Vikings, the Eagles Vikings opening night was legit. I think that was a real report and that was going to be set. However, Do you remember all the investigation about those Vikings fans getting harassed by Philly fans?
Yeah.
I think that the NFL, as like, okay, we want to avoid this. We don't want all these crybaby
Yeah, because
Vikings
that's
fans
not a primetime
doing
game.
thing.
Against Minnesota, it's a 4:25 start.
Yeah. So I think that for their kickoff game, they don't want that subplot there. So they're like, okay, we'll take the Vikings out.
But
and
in
we'll
fairness,
put the
it's a
Falcons in.
Thursday, so like, I would think there'll be less drunks there because you got I know
It's week 1.
we know
They've been
It's
they've been
kickoff.
pre-gaming all summer.
we know.
So that's my theory. I think that the NFL stepped in and decided, or the NFL changed their mind and it's like, okay, we're not going to do the Vikings, so we're going to put the Falcons in there instead.
Speaking of, and this is just a quick side note
Yeah.
out of NFL, when we're talking about fan reactions and stuff.
Yeah.
I will always support the Philadelphia fan base, but the end of that Flyers season, throwing shit on the ice,
Yeah, I
you
don't.
should
I
be
don't stand
ashamed
for
of
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
That
Stop
was a
with that.
disgrace.
Stop with that. Yeah.
You're pissed because the better team won the series and you weren't happy about it. That's being sore losers, and that's the kind of stuff that makes us look bad. And there's nothing okay with that. There's nothing that
Nothing.
warrants that. And if you were one of those people, you should be ashamed of yourself.
It's
You could boo and heckle, whatever. I did share a great heckling video. If you saw the baseball video, I shared. If you didn't, I'll tag you in it.
tag me in it.
Because my post was, I thought this only happens in Philadelphia.
No, I didn't see
It's
it.
all fan videos of people heckling baseball
Stream
players.
froze. The stream
Oh.
froze. The stream froze.
It was amazing.
Stream froze.
I
Oh
thought
my
you were-
God.
I thought you were talking about us. I'm like,
But-
what?
No. But side point, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah.
Well,
Case in point, leave it at that.
there's two takes on that. Number one, it's extremely embarrassing. I'm not as big, I say all the time on the shows, I'm a 100% bandwagon Flyers fan. I'll say it. Like, I'll own up to it. You know what I mean? Like, I said it the other day.
JJ with a tray.
Until they actually start getting out of this continuous rhythm. They're right now, and I know they're building. Obviously, we talked about it earlier at nauseum.
Really? Did we?
Yeah, well.
With who?
Certain people. Certain people.
I will.
I don't know if talking is the word, but
leave it at that.
yeah,
Go ahead.
compromising maybe was the word.
The Real Talk group is always amped up to the next
That's why I
level.
say it's
You don't hear on the
A2D
air.
times 1,000 miles an hour. It's tough to look at this and say back to back. The last two times the Philadelphia Flyers have been in the playoffs, these fans have been complete and utter embarrassments to the city.
Mhm.
With this year with the beer cans and the other, and 2 years ago,
Ed Snyder night.
absolute
That was the worst.
Yes, that was
disgrace.
bad.
And
That was the worst.
I ripped then, and I will continue to rip. And this is why I always say when
I'll-
people try and get cute,
I'll never forgive that.
no, neither will I.
Yeah.
That made us all look.
That
It was an
yeah.
utter disgrace. And I always say that when people want to get cute and try and take shots at Philly fans, they always talk about, oh, you threw snowballs at Santa Claus. Oh, you had the one Phillies fan get tasered. They'll never talk about the one sole thing that was A, recent,
Two. But
Two-
go ahead. I'll tell you the other one.
that was A, recent, and B, completely fair. The fact that these Flyers fans wanted to completely disrespect the late Ed Snyder and throw those custom-made bracelets onto the ice because they were a little pissed off with a building team that happened to make the playoffs.
Right.
I'll add one to it. Do you remember the fan that went to the penalty box against Ty Domi?
Oh,
Years
I
and years
thought
ago?
that was
Oh,
pretty
I
funny.
like
had no
that
problem.
because I
I-
couldn't
it's-
stand Ty Domi.
It's
Ty Domi
funny.
was such a dick.
It's funny, but where else do you see
No,
that?
I mean, listen. I will say this. For the most part, Flyers fans are great.
Yeah.
That's really the only two instances. The other thing I'm talking about, as far as to me unforgivable, is throwing batteries at JD Drew.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
there's a certain morning sports talk radio host who instigated that days and weeks prior to that, who is an absolute schmuck. Everybody knows who he is. I don't need to say his name on the air. You know what station he works on. He's a buffoon. And he instigated that. And he never took the accountability for that because if you listen to his show, he fed the fire to have that kind of thing happen. And I'm all about, man, like booing people and having a good time with it and voicing your displeasure. But there's lines you don't cross. You don't disrespect people who pass away. You don't disrespect the people who are on the ice or on the floor or on the field to that point where you're throwing stuff at people. I'm just not okay with that. There's nothing anybody could tell me that make that okay.
There was a page, like someone had shared it on my timeline. It was actually like in someone's memories, like on Facebook, like flashback to when the Flyers did that. You know, the
Okay.
Flyers fans did that with the Ed Snyder video. Like,
Yeah.
I cannot, like, I literally cannot watch that video. Like, I
I
get
haven't gone
upset. Like, I
Yeah.
get like angry watching that video because it's like everything you said, Grump. You know, the poor guy, he had just freaking passed away. It was Ed Snyder night.
Yeah.
And you show that disrespect by throwing, and not all the fans did it, but a good portion of them did it, and where the public service announcer literally had to say, please stop throwing these on the ice.
Well,
Yeah.
and that was the case of the other night.
Yeah.
Again, and listen, even if that's an instant reaction, when they go on and they say it's time to stop, it's time to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay with the first half of it, but then when you continue to do it, which happened again the other night, that's an issue for me.
Yeah.
We could
I
rest
agree.
it. We could rest
I
it at that.
totally
You know,
agree.
I don't want to. I don't want to dive into it. I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on a fan base because I'm not. I think the majority of people who are with any sense of a common sense would understand that there's lines you don't cross, and those are instances that it did.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, since you brought that up, it's a valid point. I mean, I didn't think of that, but that could be a very good, strong possibility. Is they don't want to have that negativity, specifically opening up the season
Mm-hmm.
with that highlight. Like, I do think that the NFL has embraced the Eagles, and there's a celebration, and it is. It's a team that has just won their first Super Bowl. They're being highlighted. I don't think they want to highlight that negativity to
Yeah,
begin
yeah.
to come off of this kind of a high.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, what year, which week do the Vikings play the Eagles?
5.
week 5.
And you said it's a 4:25 on a Sunday?
4:25 on
Yeah.
a Sunday at home.
I know that's early in the season. Is there any chance that gets flexed?
No.
Nah.
They don't
that's
start
not-
flexing games until like week
yeah,
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I'll be interested. I hope they don't flex that
You know,
Rams game that I'm going to.
No, they wouldn't.
Oh,
Flex
it's an
it.
8:20. Never mind.
They wouldn't flex it. Yeah.
there's
It's
nowhere to
prime
flex it
time.
to.
Yeah, you're right, dummy.
Midnight.
Yes.
You know how crazy that's going to be? Yeah, so I'm going to the Rams game in LA,
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
which is crazy too because it's going to be a prime time game, but it's going to be like 5:20 there when
Over
the
there,
game
right?
starts.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I've
That'll
never
be
experienced
interesting.
that. But,
Just make sure Wentz doesn't get hurt again.
Yeah,
Shut up.
protect him, please.
Shut the
Please.
fuck up.
I'm putting
Um,
that on you, Chrome. You're responsible.
I'll always protect my ginger brother.
Keep
Ginger
him safe.
Jesus.
Yes.
Keep him safe.
But listen, I mean, I think the schedule's good. I like that. It seems to be the divisional games for the most part are very heavy in the second half of the season, which is interesting.
I think also it's an easy travel schedule for us.
Yeah, it's not. It's a
I
lot
don't
of home
think-
and away, with the exception of 2 back-to-back home and 2 back-to-back away.
well, Charles,
second half.
read the first 4 games to the viewers.
So we are home against Atlanta for the opening night kickoff, where we will raise a banner that is saying we are Super Bowl champions. For those who don't know. And then I had to do that. Week 2 away against Tampa Bay. Week 3 home against Indy, which is Frank Reich's homecoming. Week 4 away against Tennessee. Week 5 home against Minnesota. Week 6 away against New Jersey Giants.
Well,
I got you on at the East Rutherford Giants.
New York Giants.
pause real quick on just the first 4, okay?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
What does that tell you, especially with a main storyline that's been going on this offseason with a certain player? Those first 4 weeks is huge when it comes down to the recovery of Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you guys already said, our divisional games don't come until later. So it doesn't force the issue.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go at the versus the Falcons, then go to Dallas or go to, New York/New Jersey or go to Washington. You play the Buccaneers on the road.
Or go to England.
Yeah, exactly. You play Buccaneers on the road. You stay on the East Coast, obviously. The Buccaneers, they're fine. They're not a Vikings or anybody like
They
that.
have Jameis
no.
Winston.
Yeah, they're okay at the moment.
I mean, if I'm looking at the schedule, to your point, I don't feel like I need Carson back until week 4 against Tennessee.
You don't need to rush him at all.
Right.
It's not
I'd
like
say
you get
week
to
5.
play.
I'd say week 5 against Minnesota. That's the first game.
Tennessee could be a tough matchup, though.
It could. No, it definitely
Because
could.
it's on the road.
Yeah.
So that could be a tough matchup. But ideally, even if worst case scenario, I'm saying, because I agree, I would be 5. He has to be on the field by then.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at it, week 4, he could come back. I think he'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I honestly thought it was realistic that the Eagles could have gotten screwed at the beginning of the season to where they could have had to play the Falcons on the opener, play a divisional game, let's just say the Giants. Then you go to a Buccaneers, for example, an out-of-division team, and then you come back and you play the Vikings.
Your whole first half of your season, you only have the Giants week 6.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Then the second half is what?
Dallas. I
You
want to
have
go to that game.
You have 4 out of 5 games are divisional games. So you have Dallas at home, Saints, which is a tough game in between.
Mhm.
Saints could be brutal.
Then you have a home. Then it's 3 of the 5 games are home, though.
Well, that stretch that you're alluding to, I believe it's Saints, Jaguars. What is it?
Well, you have the
Jags.
Jags. So you could even
Week
include the Jags before that, too. So you got the Jags in England,
Then bye.
then bye.
Brutal.
That's not bad, though, because the bye is in between there. But then you have Dallas at home. You have the Saints on the road, Giants at home, Redskins at home, then out to Dallas. Then the Rams away, come home for Texans, Tennessee, come home for Houston, and then away you wrap up the season. I think that it's polar opposites when you look at the first half of the schedule.
Yeah.
What I'll say, I don't think it's important to get Carson back really maybe week 4, definitely by week 5. But they have to play well that first half of this season.
They have to play
because
well,
that
yeah.
second half is going to be so tough.
I think they need to come out with at
We're talking the
at
first.
least 6 wins.
I agree. The first
at
8
least
games
6
they need to
wins.
win 6.
They need to win 6.
If I'm looking ideally at the second half, I think you win against Dallas at home. I think you might lose to New Orleans on the road. I think they'll run the home games. Up till Dallas. I think they might lose to Dallas in Dallas. The Rams game's going to be tough, too.
I can see them going 5-3 in the second half of the season. I can see them go roughly.
If I'm looking at
this is way too early, guys. Can we not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
This
to
is
all the
just to
viewers
have
out there,
fun
this
and
is
talk.
like
Yeah.
this is just like
No, it's just having fun. We could
Yeah.
we could have a little fun with it.
yeah.
If I'm looking at it, I agree. I think if I'm looking at the losses alone, just on paper, we know how much that means. Saints on the road, Dallas on the road. I hope not because I'm going to be there, but the Rams on the road. Even week 17 against Washington, I'm iffy on. I don't know. But every other game I'm not concerned about.
From weeks 5 to 11, that I'm not going to say it's brutal because obviously, like you said, Charles, it's way too early. We don't know the situations of the Eagles or the teams we're playing against. But just on paper, to start it off going against the Vikings and then a divisional game against the Giants, whether or not people think they're going to be a threat or they're going to be garbage, it doesn't matter. It's a divisional game.
Always tough
You
games.
saw how bad of a team they were this year, and they gave us trouble. Both games.
Yeah.
Then the Carolina Panthers. I mean, pretty much every team in that NFC South, they're very good. I mean, the Buccaneers are like the 4th place team on paper right now, and they could easily go 9-7.
Yeah.
The Jaguars. I mean, I made a joke when they announced, the week in which the Eagles would be playing the Jaguars in London. And I said it's the Super Bowl champs versus the London champs, and the Jaguars very good team. I mean, they are.
Very
I
good
can't.
team.
The quarterback stinks, but I mean, they
could see-
overall are a very good team.
And they're comfortable. They're very comfortable playing in London. Like that's
Yeah.
They've done that almost every year.
Nice.
So
Bellinelli.
I could see us losing that
Belly
game.
Nelly.
Unless Jay Ajayi, Mr. Ambassador, decides to go off on that game and we win because of him.
I would like for him to go off in every game. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
A few YouTube comments I want to get to real quick.
Yeah.
William Green 72, who I think is Gina.
Yep.
Says the rotten fans that did that. I think she's talking about The Flyers fans.
Yep.
The Rotten fans that did that gave fans that respect teams, whether we win or lose, a bad name. I'm embarrassed for those jackholes.
Yeah.
Jack
That's fair, Gina.
Yeah, jackholes.
That's absolutely right.
Dion Brown says, guys, outside of 83 and maybe 04 NFL draft, would you say that this could be the deepest draft for QBs since back then? I'm too young for 83. I will say that. I see you say deep.
I mean, essentially, Chuck's was the same size as sperm Chuck's,
Yeah,
but regardless,
yeah,
he wasn't outside yet.
yeah. 04, I was still learning about football, so I can't say I wasn't as knowledgeable about the draft as I am now. But it's tough for me to say that. If you're talking about deep, there's 5 quarterbacks who will go first round, potentially maybe 6. If Mason Rudolph gets picked, I swear to God, I swear to God, in the first round, that would be oh my God.
The Cardinals might have to
But-
take him after they're
Yeah,
lapped
it's
by
a-
everybody else.
I think it's deep by
Quantity.
quantity, not
Yeah.
by quality. Right?
I don't think, but exactly, I don't think by quality. I think in 04, those quarterbacks is talking about like top tier talent. So it was what Philip Rivers, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
They were
They're guys who are
highly touted.
franchise guys.
Yeah, they were highly touted coming to the draft process, from what I remember.
This is a draft where nobody's a can't miss. Ryan Leaf's a huge example. We dropped a video on him earlier.
Yes, we
He's the
did.
man.
Yes, we did.
If you're not on our Facebook pages and all that stuff, check it out. We dropped some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
But you're looking at that, but there were guys who you knew were going to be franchise quarterbacks. Pretty strong. They could be maybe 1, maybe 2. Other guys are going to be real projects but could get there. There's nobody jumping off the page. They're jumping off the page because a lot of teams need quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
That's why they're jumping off the page. But, I mean, Tom said it perfectly earlier. Other than one quarterback, what does any of them really want? Nothing.
They all have. I mean, every quarterback, every draft is going to have flaws.
Correct.
But there's no, in terms of overall grade,
Unless you're Carson Wentz.
there's no quarterback here to me that stands out as being like, oh, you are worth a high pick. You are worth a number 1 overall pick. Even the draft where Carson Wentz went, 2 seasons ago, I was skeptical of the pick, but I was grading him pretty high. I was just worried about is that small school thing going to be too much?
Yeah,
You know
I
what mean?
wasn't skeptical of the pick as much as I was skeptical because we gave up a lot to get there at a time where we had a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
And I do believe the draft is the place to fill a mass amount of those holes.
Mm-hmm.
But proven, when you have that guy there, you go up and get him.
Yeah.
And there just isn't that elite quarterback where
Yeah,
you look and say,
Wentz-
I need to trade up and give my next 2 years of draft picks up, or what I don't remember exactly what they gave up.
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, to go and get him.
Wentz showed too many things to not be considered that high. And I think a lot of the traits he did also show were intangibles, like stuff that in the meetings, so leadership. He knew how to run a pro offense because he was in the huddle all the time in North Dakota State. With these quarterbacks, you just don't see, there's too many glaring flaws that keeps them from that type of tier. Now, you're going to have evaluators and scouts who disagree, all the time. There are people who say Josh Rosen is that type of quarterback. They would grade him higher than Jared Goff. You're going to have people that say Sam Darnold or Josh Allen are that type of quarterback. I just personally disagree. I don't think there is a clear-cut, high, top-tier talent at quarterback this year.
Listen, I'm not a guy who follows the college game very closely. I follow a little bit. I know some of the guys when they're coming out. But when there's a good quarterback, I typically know who their name is. Or I don't want to say good quarterback. When there's that guy who, is the franchise guy, not just me, everybody knows who their name is when they're coming out of the draft. I only know maybe 1 or 2 of these guys. And It's not because I don't pay any less attention this year than I do any other year. There's just nobody that jumps off the page that's a can't-miss guy.
To Dion's comment, I really wouldn't call this draft deep. I wouldn't use that word. I honestly think so many quarterbacks will be taken in the first 2 rounds, especially in the first round. Not because it's deep. Use the word desperation.
Yeah, they're desperate.
Yep.
There is not a year in the last handful of years, arguably, to where so many teams have been desperate for the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is why guys like Lamar Jackson, who arguably in any other year could be a second-round lock, will probably go in the top 15. I would say it's a lock that he does go in the top 15.
Yeah.
Maybe in the top 12, in all honesty. Probably in a situation where teams will be trading up to get him, not because he's an unstoppable talent that you can't pass up on, but it's like, okay, well, the other 5 quarterbacks are already taken. Freaking Mason Rudolph
We're talking
could
about
be taken in the top 15. What?
Yeah, it's
Just
bad.
because,
That's
not
bad.
because they are deep. Desperation.
Yeah, they're bad.
Josh Allen, someone who shouldn't be starting for another 2 years, there's a legitimate chance he could be taken 1.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. All of these guys have massive bust potential. I don't think all of them will be busts, but I think more of them will be than Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, too, if you hold them up to the guys who are young quarterbacks who we look at now as the next wave of quarterbacks in this league, the Jimmy Garoppolos, the Carson Wentz's, the Jared Goff's, Jeff Goff. I don't even know where the fuck I got that from. Like, you look at these really young guys who have shown us, like, they're in their position. They're there to stay. They are going to be the next wave when the Bradys, when the Breezes, and the Phillip Rivers and these guys tail off. There's nobody in this draft that I say, I see that guy being held right up next to those guys.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that I look at more of like the Matt Stafford. I know people love him. I think they could be a really good quarterback, but I don't know that they'll ever win anything. Kind of guys, mid-tier quarterbacks, top maybe 10 to 15.
So like a stat magnet.
Essentially,
Yeah.
Maybe good for fantasy, but I don't know that they're going to be elite quarterbacks.
Yeah. I don't like we could be. We definitely no one ever knows for
No,
sure.
you don't know.
We could be so wrong. We could be
Brian Leaf was
revisiting this
fucking great in
3
college.
Yeah,
we
we
thought he
could
was a
be
can't miss.
revisiting this in 3 years, and Josh Allen and Sam Darnold are lighting up the league. It's very possible. Quarterback is such a difficult position to evaluate. It's so difficult because there's so many factors that play so many factors into evaluating quarterbacks, and I could be totally off. It's just that from what I know, from my knowledge, it's hard for me to see anything.
Pop that 3,
Please.
baby.
Oh,
shit.
Damn.
When I look at a draft position and I think, man, it's deep, I look at the term deep as there are guys in the first round that have to be top 10 or top 15 picks. But if I don't get one of those guys, there are really good quality guys that are going to make an impact in the league in day 2, like you said, or in the 4th round or what have you. Like, those guys are going to still be around. So that's what I look at as deep. It's not just a grouping in the first round. It's how many quality guys can I get after that? So for me, I look at the quarterback position this year, and you guys are exactly right. It's by need because teams have to take these guys this high. Otherwise, maybe 1 or 2 would go, and you wouldn't see another one of these quarterbacks go until 2 or 3. So, I mean, hell, there was a year where you had good quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers dropped how deep in the draft?
Oh,
Aaron Rodgers would be a clear no doubter this year. But so many guys are basically put on a higher level than what he was at that time because of the need in the league.
You're talking about Deshaun Watson last year. I felt like he was on par.
I
was
loved
like
that
his
pick for them.
evaluation wise, he was on par with what we were seeing with the guys we're seeing now. But he fell to what? what pick was he? 12?
Something
like that?
Yeah. 11, 12.
Like
12.
So
And someone had to trade up to get him.
So yeah, so I don't know. I that's my thought process on the QBs. There's just no clear cut number one guy. Todd Womack did
Quick Sixers update.
end of the
I
third.
know you guys are probably 35 seconds ahead of us, but
Yeah,
80 to 66 end of the third quarter.
let's go.
What do we say? Second half team.
go.
They're trying to pull away, but the Heat will always make that 1-3 to kind of keep them in it.
It's okay.
Yeah, or
got faith.
they'll be the pricks that they are and take cheap shots.
Yes.
I'm not complaining with this 14-point lead, though.
Well,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
noticed the swing that happened real quick after Dragic took that little bitch ass
Yeah.
Because
shisty little back slap.
they can only keep up this physicality so long because A, fatigue, and B, after a while, they're going to get up against the foul limit, and they're going to be like, okay, Dragic has 4.
Yeah.
Whiteside has 3.
Yep.
That's just the way it goes. And I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying, like, people were close to the limit, I can tell.
Yeah.
Let's get a few more on YouTube
yeah,
before we sign
Todd
off.
Womack says if we can get DJ Chark or Anthony Miller, I'll be happy. DJ Chark, I'm not I like him. I think he's like a round 3 guy for me. Anthony Miller, though, everyone, if you don't know Anthony Miller, check him out because in terms of wide receiver, I have him like my second or third ranked wide receiver. He is legit. Like he is so good, and I think since he went to a small school, he's not getting the hype like like a DJ Moore is or Calvin Ridley. But I'm telling you, I rank Anthony Miller. I give him pretty much the same grade as a DJ Moore. I like him better than some of the other guys like Cortland Sutton. I like him better than DJ Chark. I like him better than Christian Kirk. Definitely James Washington. I like him a lot better than James Washington. So Anthony Miller, Todd Womack, I agreed. Anthony Miller is legit. I'm really high on Anthony Miller.
I just want to say something real quick to the fam on YouTube.
Go ahead.
You guys are freaking awesome because I know we go Facebook heavy in the first half, primarily now because Facebook only gets a short period of time. We try to give you guys the whole show. So I appreciate that you guys stick in, and that's why a lot of weeks we do overtime with you guys because you guys stick it out with us and contribute the entire time. So thank you for that. I just want to jump that in there.
Yeah.
Love the fam.
Oh, yeah. YouTube people are great. SJM86 says, someone is always a donkey in the draft. I don't understand how Cleveland develops any QB given Hugh Jackson only won 1 game in 2 years and won't be there in a year. I mean, if he gets his quarterback this year.
Listen, if he gets his quarterback and he gets Saquon and they go out there and win with, Josh Gordon for a full year.
If they can't do anything with that, then
if they can't go out, I have to look at their schedule. But if they can't go out and win 7 or 8 games,
or even look good, you can win 6 games, 5 games, but if you look good doing it, like you're competitive, you show that there
well,
is.
that was the first half of the Chargers last season. I mean,
Yeah.
the first 4 or 5 games they lost,
by-
all close games.
All close games.
But they just couldn't get over the hump at the end. But when they turned it on, they really turned it on.
They were really good.
So
If the Browns can show development with their young guys that they drafted before, and then they bring impact players this year, and they show that they're making an impact, and Hugh Jackson is showing that he can be a capable coach with certain decisions, like not playing Duke Johnson behind Isaiah Crowell, stuff like that. I think that they could be something, but again, it's the Browns.
thank you, Todd, by the way. For
Yeah,
the
I
nice
saw Todd's
comment.
thing.
SJM says Saquon is going to the Giants. That's my bold call, fellas.
It's not really a
While
ball call.
while we have the fam real quick, and I know you did this earlier.
Yep. Yeah, let me address it with the YouTube
Yeah,
peeps
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So again, we appreciate that you guys join on every show. Unfortunately, we are not going to do lazy booking this week, and I know a couple of guys in here do join us for lazy booking. We're going to take off because of the draft. Hockey Happy Hour is still going on as scheduled, but what we're going to do special for the draft, I wanted to kind of leave it open so everybody can focus on that. We wanted to have it where I know Charles is going to be a focal point of it. The bro, Doe,
The bro.
is going to be a focal part of it. We're going to be on Facebook Live, or we're going to do Facebook Live in the Real Talk group, which you really need to be a part of. If you're not, we can get you guys.
Get in.
Let us know, and we'll get you jumped on there.
Well, what I was going to say was, so for our YouTube fam, obviously you guys watch on YouTube, so you're not on Facebook all the time. I know guys like Dion. There's a couple of them that go back and forth, which we appreciate them as well.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to do, I'm typing in on the YouTube chat the name of our discussion group. Basically, if you're not already familiar, we have a discussion group over on our Facebook page. You can join it. It's constant discussion. It's with all the hosts here on A2D Radio, a bunch of the family. You can be doing live videos in there. You can be talking. You can be opening up any discussions, sharing any opinions you have.
We have fun. We go at each other sometimes on there.
Yeah.
And we amp it up a little more than we do on the show. No, and with that, he's going to drop that. So if you're on Facebook, join that group. But we're not going to forget about you on YouTube either. Once they go live on there, they're then going to post the videos on YouTube. So you'll still be able to follow it on YouTube if you're not someone that's on Facebook. They're amazing. There is people who aren't. So
it's a good one, SJM.
But yeah, did you talk about you talked about the live, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, we'll be on. Yeah, we'll be on.
So like basically, if you have two options, either you can and I honestly say, regardless, if you want to watch the stuff, the live draft reactions on draft night, regardless, I think you should. And I'm not saying this as like a cheap commercial to our discussion group. Seriously, if you love all of the shows, if you love all of the hosts on A2D, just get in the Real Talk group. I'm serious. Like it's free. You know what I'm saying? Like it's literally A2D Radio. Jacked up to 1,000 miles an hour. It's constant to where you don't have to be waiting for every Tuesday on Birds of a Feather to talk to Chucks and Chrome. You don't have to wait until every Sunday for the guys on Agree to Disagree. Literally freaking at them. Freaking, hey, Tom, what do you think of this? Hey, the bro, what do you think of this? Hey, Chrome. You know what I mean? It's constant. So
I don't know the bro, but I know the bro.
Yeah, I gotta change. I'm going to have to change my own friggin'. It's not going to be Ryan Brodo anymore. It's going to be the bro. My little description's going to be the bro now.
The bro.
Just completely change it up.
But no, he's absolutely right. It's a fun group, and hey, we could self-promote a little bit. We don't promote very much on here.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's not just the self-promotion. Honestly, it's a lot of fun, and we've been talking about it because we've had so much fun in it and really had some quite, I would say, lively discussions in there. And we're like, man, people would love this if they're not a part of it. And it's not something that we had a huge initiative with before, but we're like, let's amp this up because it's much easier, like Ryan was saying, to talk to us or Tom or Wilson or anybody or Maddie isn't on Facebook as much, but it's much easier to be able to interact with us and have deeper conversations all throughout the week. But still come and watch what we have to say on the show too. We do save a little bit, so we have something for you guys for the show. I didn't read it, but I'll go back and read it. I already know where this is going. So definitely join us, guys, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys over there in the Real Talk.
Definitely. And again, Thursday, I'll be on live. A lot of it for the draft. I will be talking. Hopefully not too long.
Yeah, I think the first one's you and I, right?
First one's you and I know Tom said he wanted.
Well, we've already set the trap. We're gonna have Charles' fiance smack him in his fucking head if he goes on too long.
If I go on too long, she's smacking me at the 1 minute mark of each video. But I will be on there for several videos on Thursday.
Yeah.
With other people from A2D. Heck, it's the draft. It's what I've been waiting for months, me and Paulie. So
we're finally here. Guys, thank you for joining us. If you're on Facebook and made the jump, Periscope, you guys are rock. Thank you for that. Over here on YouTube, as always, the fam, guys, you run this show. You guys make this show happen. Thank you to our sponsors, Gibson Mayer LLC, Stream Smart, Scanzano Sports, as always, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, A2D Radio, Birds of a Feather, signing off, guys. Enjoy the draft. Let's get that W from the Sixers tonight. Have a great week.